Hello, good evening. It's News 360 coming to you live from the News Hub here at Desawe Kanda. I am Portia Gabo.
And I am Martin Asiedu Data. These are the headlines for the next 1 hour.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank.
2 persons confirmed dead after a microlight aircraft crashed onto a school compound in Tema. We have details for you in a moment.
And also coming up tonight, GPRTU announces transport fares will remain unchanged despite fuel price hikes caused by Middle East conflict.
And later in the bulletin, 7-member committee investigating unethical medical practices at Ridge and Kolebu hospitals recommend disciplinary action against doctor at Ridge Hospital.
Coming up in business news in about 35 minutes, Ghanaians fume as petrol and diesel prices set to breach record highs at local pumps in recent times.
On the international front, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz says the US-Israel-Iran war is not a matter for NATO after President Trump asked NATO to help secure the Strait of Hormuz blocked by Iran.
We have details of all these stories and many more coming up in the next 1 hour. Do stay with us. In our very first story, 2 people have been killed after a plane crashed in Tema on Monday, March 16. The plane crashed at Oninku Drive School Park in Tema Community 1. Investigators from the Aircraft Accident and Incident Investigation and Prevention Bureau arrived soon after the crash. The team collected first-hand information for their report. The area has been cordoned off with security service personnel deployed in large numbers.
And moments after the development, people living in and around the area swarmed to the crash site. Some of them have been speaking with George Queening, my colleague.
The helicopter was passing there, come around GMG, go back and transport for the school inside. Okay. So when you entered there, I was looking for the kiddies to promote them from the yard inside and the main school inside. So I moved them where you start to kill the fire.
So how many children?
It's more than 100 children.
So that many?
Here on the other side. This is the main school that they put here for the kid. Like 5 years, 4 years, 3 years kid. You understand? So I was there when I moved the TV from the school here. Then I tell the woman to move the other people there and go out. So it can blast anytime. You understand? So that one I see.
So that means that the kids, it could have killed the kids.
Yeah, it could have killed them. But you see the distance towards the police and the way the helicopter from. See them at end and then see the helicopter.
Yes,
see them at end, yes. Then see the helicopter.
It was around 2:50. My headmistress was in my class and she was carrying a little baby at her back. So when the baby was crying, we were just waiting for the mother to come. But yeah, how at the end it happened? The only thing we saw was the explosion. The only thing we heard was the explosion. And I would say that it's by the grace that we are still alive. Because if it wasn't God, I didn't even know what I would do. Because I was even mad. I didn't even know where to go with the kids.
So the kids should have died?
Yes. They could have died. Because the way the thing happened, and the pilots and the other colleagues were burnt to ashes. So what could have happened? It would have been disaster.
I'm going to thank God?
Yes. I have to thank God. Because I'm a teacher taking care of someone's children.
Clearly, I mean, I'm sure that many are thankful to God that at the time of the crash, we're told these children were not in the school because the crash is happened in the school premises. That's the information we are getting. George Queening has been at the scene and has joined us. George, thank you for your time. So first of all, paint a picture for us where exactly you are and what you can report at the moment.
Very good evening, Martin. Thank you so much for your time. A very good evening, and we are coming to you live from Tema Community 1. It always feels good to be back home, and what really brought me this time around is not a pleasant one. It's another helicopter crash. The last one happened somewhere last year, August, so we all felt it was going to be the last because of the thorough investigation and the recommendations that were spelled out. We felt it was going to be the last, but it's quite unfortunate that it happened again. And it actually happened around 2:50 p.m. today, and it happened right here in this very school, and this school is also here in Tema Community 1, and it's the Tema Metropolitan Daycare Center. And this school actually has a school population of more than 100, and so it happened right here. And this is also a shared 2-classroom shed, and so every class has 30 people. So the students were actually in class, actually class was in session when it happened, and so what that means that they could have died, but it took God's intervention for their life to be saved. And then there were teachers there who were there to evacuate them. But the headmistress some few minutes ago was singing songs of praise. I can tell what that really means to her. Madam Florence is the headmistress of the Tema Metropolitan Daycare Center. I know what the song really means to you. Tell me more. TV3 viewers are watching.
I'm happy. I'm very, very excited that though we have lost a soul, but where the incident happened is school. Yeah, the children, all of children, assuming the aircraft fell on the classroom roof, all the children would band together with the teachers. But very, very fortunately, none of the children or the teachers have involved in the incident. So that makes me to praise God, to give thanks to God.
Can you give us the exact time it happened?
I said I wasn't here actually before the thing happened. Yeah, I'm there ahead, but I'm at center. But I was told that 3:30 that way, and that by then too, all the children are in the class. By then, some are asleep, some are, yeah, before the thing happens. So according to the one that's in charge over here, they said he doesn't know, he haven't seen the way the aircraft has landed, but all that they have heard is what? Boom, with fire. Yeah, so by then the residents also did well. They came to their rescue. They came and helped them to rescue the children to the other classroom. So nobody involved in the accident.
Teacher Agi is your teacher, and then she says this very experience or trauma will haunt them the rest of their lives. So it means that some sort of psychological support will be given to this case. I don't know how soon will that be?
Yeah, but I was told that Teacher Agi that you mentioned, but she fell.
Yeah. She was here. I hear also another teacher was also here with her.
Yeah, according to the source, they said it fell. But as for her, she's fat, so she can't involve them.
The support, are you going to give them counsel? The kids, they need that psychological support.
Yeah, but tomorrow, tomorrow, nobody will not come. We will not school tomorrow.
Certainly,
unless the authority.
George will be bringing us further regarding what has happened in the school. But the news is that 2 persons died. They were the occupants of the light aircraft. Investigations are currently ongoing. We'll keep you updated when we do get further information.
Meanwhile, the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority has confirmed that a micro-light aircraft with registration number 9G-ADV crashed in Tema today, Monday, March 16. A press release issued by the authority says the aircraft was flying from Ho to Accra, estimating Accra at 3:20. The authority says the last contact with the aircraft was on radio at 1418Z. The authority notes that there were 2 persons on board the plane. The statement noted that further details will be provided in due course.
Away from air transport related matters to land transport, the Ghana Private Road Transport Union GPRTU has announced that transport fares will be maintained at their current rates after holding an executive meeting on the 16th of March. This follows the recent fuel price hikes in petroleum products due to the ongoing conflict in the Middle East, leading to disruptions in the fuel supply chain globally. Nura Mohammed has more on this report.
Many Ghanaians have been expressing concern over a possible increment in transport fares following the new pricing window for fuel, which opened on Monday, March 16, 2026. This worry, however, has been put to bed by the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU. Speaking to TV3, the Deputy National Public Relations Officer of the union, Samuel Amoa, said there will be no increment for the time being.
During the meeting, we agreed that yes, previously we saw some reductions even up to a single digit. Of that, commuters were calling for a reduction of transport fares, but we didn't do that because we didn't see the stability of the petroleum product. So where it has gotten to now, the leadership has now met and we have agreed that as it stands now, we are not going to come in with any increment of transport fares for now. But what we want to do is to check if this is going to be stable or what will happen next.
He cautioned commercial drivers under the union not to go against the directive.
Nobody should, go and increase transport fares. We don't just wake up and increase transport fares. There is a process that we go through, and where it has gotten to now, nobody should increase the transport fares. They should maintain what they are taking for now. When it comes to a point where we are to increase, the same way we communicate to them, we print, the prices and, distribute to them. That is exactly what we do. But for them not hearing from us, nobody should go out there to go and increase any transport fares.
Although global fuel prices are still volatile, the government has promised to review fuel taxes should pump prices exceed 15 Ghana cedis. Nura Mohammed, TV3 News, Accra.
In more news tonight, President John Mahama has held a high-level meeting with heads of security agencies, the Minister of the Interior and the Acting Minister of Defense to review the ongoing security services recruitment process. Following briefings on the process, President Mahama directed that the number of men and women to be recruited across the various security agencies be increased from 20,000 to 40,000 over the next 4 years. He further emphasized the importance of transparency and fairness in the recruitment process to ensure merit-based selection. The president's spokesperson, Felix Kwacho-Fusu, confirmed the directives, highlighting government's commitment to strengthening security institutions and creating opportunities for qualified citizens to serve. Present at the meeting were senior officials including the Chief of Staff, Secretary to the President, Senior Presidential Advisor on Governmental Affairs, National Security Coordinator, the Inspector General of Police, Director General of Prisons, Director General of the Fire Service, Comptroller General of the Ghana Immigration Service, and the Director General of the Narcotics Control Commission.
In a related development, the majority in Parliament has rejected demands by the minority leader for the refund of some 113 million Ghana cedis collected from applicants who were disqualified in the ongoing security service recruitment exercise, justifying that fees paid by failed applicants in the past were not refunded. But the minority has described that a total deviation from government's reset agenda, while also criticizing the continuous use of a private jet by President Mahama for state travels. Christian Yale reports from Parliament.
Recruitment into the internal security services has been fraught with controversies ever since it started. The minority leader on the floor asked for a cessation of the process and a briefing from the Interior Minister. He also demanded that monies paid by disqualified applicant be refunded. But the majority leader described those calls as unjustified.
They did the same thing, advertised, people paid, and they never refunded 1 Ghana cedis to anyone. Let's discuss how we can fix the economy so that jobs can be created for all these young people. Is the young man looking for the money? The young man is looking for a job. He wants government to create a job for him. And that's what we must be doing, creating jobs. 200 Ghana cedis, if you refund it to him, what is he going to do with it?
Mahama Yarga then defended the decision to allow 500,000 applicants to compete for just 5,000 slots.
We promised every young person in this country that we will give them a fair opportunity. So, Mr. Speaker, what we are doing is simply giving every young person a fair opportunity. We could have just gone and gotten, our foot soldiers and just listed them and given them over the same way that the MPP did. But we are not doing that. If 500,000 and over people have applied, it shows the enormity and the problem of unemployment in this country.
But the minority leader is of a different opinion. He says this explanation defeats the government's reset agenda.
When a system does not offer certainty, it must obviously be reviewed. When a system does not offer clarity, it must certainly be reviewed. But if we would always go back and say, oh, yesterday something happened, it was not good, so we shouldn't talk about it. Mr. Speaker, then what is the essence of a reset? In the end, the desperate youth will be frustrated. We, the MPs, they will come to us for money to go and do medicals that they will never get the opportunity.
In other issues, the legal counsel to the minority, John Darko, has criticized President Mahama's continuous use of his brother's private jet for official state travels.
The president is using his brother's private jet, and we think that it's justifiable. When just about less than about 15 months ago, you were criticizing President Akufo-Addo for using a private jet, and you had said that the presidential jet was in a pristine condition, isn't it? Don't you remember that they said the presidential jet was in pristine condition? So what happened? Really? Are they not the same people who were forcing Akufo-Addo to fly a commercial flight? Are they not the same people? You were all in this country when they were on Akufo-Addo at any point in time to fly commercial jet. Look, it is nothing. They are not talking about economics. They feel that the president will not be comfortable in a commercial flight. That is what it is. So don't believe them when they tell you these things.
And away from Parliament, the committee tasked to investigate alleged unethical medical practices at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital and the Kolebu Teaching Hospital has recommended disciplinary action against the doctor at the Ridge Hospital over alleged unethical medical practices. The 7-member committee, chaired by Dr. Inua Yusuf, on Monday presented its report to the Ministry of Health in Accra.
The committee, chaired by Dr. Inua Yusuf, was tasked with probing claims that some patients were being charged exorbitant fees for medical services and medicines within the facilities. Presenting its findings to the ministry, the committee confirmed that some forms of unethical practice did occur. The report highlighted irregularities in how certain services and medications were billed to patients, raising concerns about transparency and accountability within sections of the healthcare system.
We found that Dr. Kusi took some money directly from a patient to buy giggly sauce for amputation procedure at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital. This, in our view, violated the Ghana Health Service Code of Conduct and other codes of conduct. We found that payment was made in US dollar instead of Ghana cedis by a client, precisely Perfect Sunday, into the UBA bank dollar account of Axis Pharmacy. And the money was for implants, accessory equipment, and consumables. And we held the view that this violated the Bank of Ghana rules. Dr. Ndani, who signed for Dr. Kaba, in the paper was written as Prof. Kaba, did so on his own accord, and he was not instructed by Dr. Kaba to do so.
The committee also made some key recommendations expected to prevent such practices in the future.
Dr. Kusi of Greater Accra Regional Hospital should be taken through disciplinary procedure in accordance with due process and the rules of natural justice. We are also recommending that the appropriate institutions should be invited to do further investigation into the payment of US dollars by a client into the Axis account instead of Ghana cedis. We further recommend that the complaint management systems in our hospitals, particularly Greater Accra Regional Hospital, should be strengthened.
Chairman of the committee, Dr. Inua Yusuf, is certain the sanctions recommended will serve as an adequate deterrent against the act.
The rules of justice are supposed to be followed. So we call him. He admitted collecting money from a patient, even though he could not establish the exact time. But he admitted collecting money. If he collected the money in a private practice, we don't have problems. But this is money that he's collected and conducted a procedure within a public hospital. And in that regard, there are rules that go with that. So taking him through the disciplinary process will, one, establish the facts of the matter.
Let's take you to the courts now, and the Accra High Court has ordered the New Patriotic Party's Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Enchiboesiakon, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi, to open his defense in the illegal mining case against him and his concession at Samreboy in the Western Region. The court dismissed an earlier submission of no case filed by lawyers for Akonta Mining, which he, Chairman Wontumi, owns. Lord Eduasare reports from the court.
NPP Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Enchiboesiakon, popularly referred to as Chairman Wontumi, and his company, Akonta Mining, have been charged with transferring or assigning mining rights without approval from the Land Minister in respect of Akonta Mining's Samreboy concession to Henry Okum. They have also been accused of facilitating unlicensed mining operations. They have pleaded not guilty and are out on bail. In court on Monday, March 16, presiding judge Audrey Kokuvute, in her ruling on the submission of no case, indicated that from the evidence so far, there's rebuttable presumption that the first and third accused have committed the offences as charged. The prosecution has made a case against the accused. With the decision of the court, Wontumi must now present his defence in response to the charges brought against him by the prosecution. Lawyers of Wontumi have been given 7 days to determine whether they will proceed with the defense. Wontumi has the option to either testify himself or call witnesses to defend him and his company. Andy Apiakubi, lead counsel for Wontumi, expressed disappointment with the decision of the court.
And if this is the way criminal jurisprudence will turn out to be, it means nobody is safe. Because any accused person at all can come and admit the commission of the crime and immediately turn out to be a prosecution witness and call any of us as having facilitated his commission of the crime. And immediately he is exonerated of the crime because he would have signed non-prosecution agreement. We live to see.
Before closing its case, the prosecution relied on the testimony of 4 witnesses. The case has been adjourned to March 26 for continuation. Lord Eduasare, TV3 News, Accra.
The Chief Justice, Paul Bafuboni, has highlighted the importance of alternative dispute resolution in the justice system. Speaking at the launch of ADR Week in Sunyan, the Chief Justice called for the strengthening of ADR as a crucial tool to ensure fair, timely, inclusive and sustainable justice delivery. A report by Claude Kumebisa.
Over 10 years, ADR has successfully assisted courts in managing disputes, leading to reduced case congestion. Currently, 138 courts are connected to ADR program, supported by a robust network of 336 trained mediators. In 2025 alone, more than 7,300 cases were referred to ADR, with an impressive settlement rate of 4,119 cases. These numbers, according to His Lordship Justice Paul Bafuboni, Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana, demonstrate a growing confidence in ADR among litigants, lawyers, and judicial services alike.
ADR remains one of the most effective tools for achieving this vision. As we continue to embrace the innovation and technology, it is essential that we further strengthen ADR as a pillar of our justice delivery system. By doing so, we will ensure that justice in Ghana remains fair, timely, inclusive, and sustainable. It is my sincere hope that this year's ADR Week will deepen public understanding of alternative dispute resolution, encourage greater participation, and strengthen the role of ADR in promoting peaceful dispute resolution across the nation.
Judge in charge of ADR, Her Leadership Angelina Homia, recommends extending the e-justice initiative to ADR, utilizing vital court platforms for mediation sessions, making a shift towards a modern, inclusive legal framework.
Going forward, it is highly recommended that the e-justice initiative should be extended to ADR. The platform for the virtual courts could also be utilized for virtual mediation sessions. In my view, the adoption of technology in ADR is no longer a peripheral experiment. It is indeed the foundation of a modern, inclusive legal system.
Her Leadership Joyce Bonny, supervising High Court Judge for Bono and Ahafo, intimates that recent reports highlight a significant rise in ADR cases, including a notable land dispute that had been stalled for over 20 years, recently resolved through ADR efforts.
Due to time constraints, I gathered a total from 4 of the high courts in this region that have cases pending for settlement by ADR or out-of-court settlement. I have been reliably informed about the case, a land case which has been pending for over 20 years, that was recently resolved by ADR. There is also a commercial case in my court that was pending for 6 years, and it was settled last year through out-of-court settlement. This is to mention but a few.
This year, during the ADR week, the focus is on elevating public understanding of ADR and encouraging wider participation in the process. Claude Kumi Ebisa, TV3 News, Sunyani.
Some cocoa farmers in the Ashanti region have lamented the drop of the farm gate price of cocoa and saying that it is taking a toll on them. From accumulating huge debt to future uncertainty, the aggrieved farmers want government to honor its earlier promise. William Evans Inkom has filed the following report.
To the government, cutting the farm gate price of the cash crop was a necessary evil to spur more demand. The chairman of the Finance Committee in Parliament and on the majority side, Isaac Adongo, has said it is not about abandoning cocoa farmers, but rebuilding a sector on a financially sound foundation. But to some of the cocoa farmers, they now find themselves in a pool of debt.
They say, me say, sabi as inflation above them. I draw kutamiya. Me a ton 120. Still as inflation above them. They ton the ton. And the cocoa is here tesu. The artistry by day and before by day the back or the 10 cities. And the me akasa mo me trust check mo a me na me ri aboka. Fansa me na me ri de bia no ye koba from kura ye me na me ri bad days kan 150 cities. O check bosom ye say. Bosom no so baso no bia anti cocoa hamburger. Na djuma na fanso be na also.
Child has gained admission to nursing, but I don't even have money to pay for admission fees. My casual workers are on me. Now I'm even paying more for fertilizers. The government must pay us now because it is strangling.
The wabetono. Wona metwa yeka. Na de aka na wo betono nso no. Won hu se ye bre ene bede boarding. Me oba mia na me fa bede. Mia na me fa lebra. Enam de ayikokoe. Enti so tisu hwisa ye boka. Esa kokoo ne ye enye de.
Baba ko training college, ba ko e university, ba ko nso e wo course ya ye kononwo. Sesi asei me ko bi PC ho. Ya 31 million makoji ska 25,000.
Took a loan to pay my children's school fees, thinking I'm getting over 3,000 per bag. But this drop has really affected me. I don't know what to do now. Cocoa price at the farm gates plummeted from an excess of 3,600 now 2,500. I mean, there has been some level of concerns from the farmers. Behind me, some members from the minority caucus in parliament, and they have been intensified campaign dissenting government decision to the price reduction.
They promised us that if they were in power, they would have offered the cocoa farmers 6,000 cedis per bag. So are they saying that, assuming that if they were in power, if they had increased the cocoa price to 6,000, would they have reduced it from 6,000 to 2,500 today?
TV3 News, Bosome Franco District, Ashanti region.
And here in the studios of TV3 is me, Martin Esiedidati, and Portia Gabo. Stay with us. When we return from this break, we'll let you know what's happening in the world of business, sports, and entertainment.
It's time to explore Ghana again. From 19th to 22nd March, join the Ghana Month Expedition. 3 regions, 4 days. Eastern, Ashanti, Central. We kick it off in Eastern region. Chocolate experiences, fresh farm fruits, Safari Valley lunch with zebras and exotic animals, Bonsu Eco Park for canopy walks and ziplining, and then party at the Rock City Hotel. Ashanti takes over. Bonre Kente Museum, Kumasi Museum, come for Noche Source Site, Lake Bosomtri for hiking adventures and sleepover at Rich Condos. Central brings the history at Sing Manso, Cape Coast Castle, plus lunch by the coast. Then a Crown Resort vacation, quad biking, horse riding, water adventures. All this for 6,500 Ghana City single, 5,500 Ghana City shared rooms, and 10,500 Ghana Cities couple. You're interested, right? Call now 0531 100927 or 0247 120 633. Ghana Month Expedition, 19th to 22nd March. Don't just watch Ghana, experience it. It's time to explore Ghana again. From 19th to 22nd March, join the Ghana Month Expedition. 3 regions, 4 days. Eastern, Ashanti, Central. We kick it off in Eastern region. Chocolate experiences, fresh farm fruits, Safari Valley lunch with zebras and exotic animals, Bonsu Eco Park for canopy walks and ziplining, and then party at the Rock City Hotel. Ashanti takes over. Bonre Kente Museum, Kumasi Museum, come for Noche Source Site, Lake Bosomtri for hiking adventures and sleepover at Rich Condos. Central brings the history at Sing Manso, Cape Coast Castle, plus lunch by the coast. Then a Crown Resort vacation, quad biking, horse riding, water adventures. All this for 6,500 Ghana City single, 5,500 Ghana City shared rooms, and 10,500 Ghana Cities couple. You're interested, right? Call now 0531 100927 or 0247 120 633. Ghana Month Expedition, 19th to 22nd March. Don't just watch Ghana, experience it. It's time to explore Ghana again. From 19th to 22nd March, join the Ghana Month Expedition. 3 regions, 4 days. Eastern, Ashanti, Central. We kick it off in Eastern region. Chocolate experiences, fresh farm fruits, Safari Valley lunch with zebras and exotic animals, Bonsu Eco Park for canopy walks and ziplining, and then party at the Rock City Hotel. Ashanti takes over. Bonre Kente Museum, Kumasi Museum, come for Noche Source Site, Lake Bosomtri for hiking adventures and sleepover at Rich Condos. Central brings the history at Sing Manso, Cape Coast Castle, plus lunch by the coast. Then a Crown Resort vacation, quad biking, horse riding, water adventures. All this for 6,500 Ghana City single, 5,500 Ghana City shared rooms, and 10,500 Ghana Cities couple. You're interested, right? Call now 0531 100927 or 0247 120 633. Ghana Month Expedition, 19th to 22nd March. Don't just watch Ghana, experience it. It's time to explore Ghana again. From 19th to 22nd March, join the Ghana Month Expedition. 3 regions, 4 days. Eastern, Ashanti, Central. We kick it off in the Eastern region. Chocolate experiences, fresh farm fruits, Safari Valley lunch with zebras and exotic animals, Bonsu Eco Park for canopy walks and ziplining, and then party at the Rock City Hotel. Ashanti takes over. Bonre Kente Museum, Kumasi Museum, Komfornochi Source Site, Lake Bosumtri for hiking adventures and sleepover at Rich Condos. Central brings the history. Asing Manso, Cape Coast Castle, plus lunch by the coast. Then a Crown Resort vacation, quad biking, horse riding, water adventures. All this for 6,500 Ghana Cedi single, 5,500 Ghana Cedi shared rooms, and 10,500 Ghana Cedis couple. You're interested, right? Call now. 0531 100927 or 0247 120 633. Ghana Month Expedition, 19th to 22nd March. Don't just watch Ghana, experience it. It's time to explore Ghana again. From 19th to 22nd March, join the Ghana Month Expedition. 3 regions, 4 days. Eastern, Ashanti, Central. We kick it off in the Eastern region. Chocolate experiences, fresh farm fruits, Safari Valley lunch with zebras and exotic animals, Bonsu Eco Park for canopy walks and ziplining, and then party at the Rock City Hotel. Ashanti takes over. Bonre Kente Museum, Kumasi Museum, Komfornochi Source Site, Lake Bosumtri for hiking adventures and sleepover at Rich Condos. Central brings the history. Asing Manso, Cape Coast Castle, plus lunch by the coast. Then a Crown Resort vacation, quad biking, horse riding, water adventures. All this for 6,500 Ghana Cedi single, 5,500 Ghana Cedi shared rooms, and 10,500 Ghana Cedis couple. You're interested, right? Call now. 0531 100927.
Market leader Star Oil updated its petrol price to 12 cedis 49 pesos, while Gold moved its petrol price to 11 cedis 57 pesos and diesel to 14 cedis 35 pesos, effectively hitting the new minimum thresholds set by regulators. The adjustments follow a new directive from the National Petroleum Authority (NPA), which significantly raised the price floors, the legal minimum at which fuel can be sold.
Fuel pricing is going to get high, it has effect on our economy. Prices of items will go high, lorry fare will go high. You know how our drivers are. Sometimes when the government reduce prices, unless authority implements policy on them before they will be able to reduce the prices for us. If those policies are not being implemented on them, there is no way they will reduce prices for us.
Fair pano, me can me failure no na me to be say me pom to say na me yema.
Fuel prices have been increased. I used to buy 600 cedis to fill my tank, but now, unless I buy 700 cedis rather to fill it, we are pleading on the government to reduce fuel prices.
Meanwhile, the International Energy Agency (IEA) has issued a stark warning to the government of Ghana, urging an immediate shift toward refining domestic crude oil to shield the country from the largest supply disruption in global history. The call comes as the Middle East crisis escalates, with Brent crude hovering near $120 a barrel.
Now, the Bank of Ghana has begun its 129th Monetary Policy Committee meeting, with the central bank reporting stronger than expected economic recovery, but warning that escalating tensions in the Middle East could threaten the country's inflation outlook.
The 3-day meeting will review developments in inflation, economic activity, and global risks before the central bank announces its next policy rate decision on March 18. Opening the meeting, the governor of the Bank of Ghana said Ghana's economy is showing stronger signs of stabilization.
These indicators point to an economy that is stabilizing more quickly than many had expected. On any conventional reading, therefore, they are the hallmarks of a program that is delivering on its objectives.
But despite the improving domestic outlook, Dr. Johnson Esiama says the global environment has become more uncertain. The escalation of conflicts in the Middle East has disrupted major energy and shipping corridors and increased volatility in global oil markets, raising the risk of imported inflation for countries like Ghana.
There is a partial offset that geopolitical uncertainty tends to support gold prices. You know the role of gold in our equation. This could benefit our trade balance. But taken as a whole, the net balance of risks from this external shock could be inflation. And hence, this has to be considered in our deliberations.
The Monetary Policy Committee will conclude its meeting on Wednesday when the Bank of Ghana announces its latest policy decision and outlook for the economy.
And that'll be all for the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodu. We'll bring you updates now from the currency and the commodities market.
Plus Parental Control helps you manage what your kids can watch. Open settings and select parental control. Enable the feature and create a 4-digit PIN. Choose a maximum content rating you're comfortable with. Any content above this rating will require the PIN. Restricted titles appear locked across the app. Trying to play restricted content prompts for the PIN. Correct entry unlocks access for that session. Multiple incorrect attempts can temporarily lock access. Parental Control on Adisa Plus. Available now. Adisa Plus. Safe streaming your way. Adisa Plus Parental Control helps you manage what your kids can watch. Open settings and select parental control. Enable the feature and create a 4-digit PIN. Choose the maximum content rating you're comfortable with. Any content above this rating will require the PIN. Restricted titles appear locked across the app. Trying to play restricted content prompts for the PIN. Correct entry unlocks access for that session. Multiple incorrect attempts can temporarily lock access. Parental control on Adisa Plus. Available now. Adisa Plus. Safe streaming your way. Adisa Plus parental control helps you manage what your kids can watch. Open settings and select parental control. Enable the feature and create a 4-digit PIN. Choose the maximum content rating you're comfortable with. Any content above this rating will require the PIN. Restricted titles appear locked across the app. Trying to play restricted content prompts for the PIN. Correct entry unlocks access for that session. Multiple incorrect attempts can temporarily lock access. Parental control on Adisa Plus. Available now. Adisa Plus. Safe streaming your way. Adisa Plus parental control helps you manage what your kids can watch. Open settings and select parental control. Enable the feature and create a 4-digit PIN. Choose the maximum content rating you're comfortable with. Any content above this rating will require the PIN. Restricted titles appear locked across the app. Trying to play restricted content prompts for the PIN. Correct entry unlocks access for that session. Multiple incorrect attempts can temporarily lock access. Parental control on Adisa Plus. Available now. Adisa Plus. Safe streaming your way. Adisa Plus parental control helps you manage what your kids can watch. Open settings and select parental control. Enable the feature and create a 4-digit PIN. Choose the maximum content rating you're comfortable with. Any content
confirmed, promising a series of thrilling clashes as clubs compete for a spot in the final. The following 3 sports report provides more details.
Whistle. Thread a shot in target and all. Open space. Lays on the pass. This should be goal number 2.
The 2025-26 MTN FA Cup quarterfinal lived up to expectation over the weekend. A lot of fireworks were seen because in the Bono region, Adriana, that is Ghana Premier League side, Adriana FC took on lower division side Techima Liberty. Many expected the game to be tight, but in the end, Adriana's quality shone as they won by 3-0. Their head coach Yoba Arestika was full of joy. Their CEO Collins Atapoku and their international relations manager, that is former Black Stars midfielder Emmanuel Ajimabedu, have both vowed that this season they will ensure that they bring continental football to the people of Doma. Another game that was played saw Nations FC take on Brecum Chelsea in an all Premier League affair. The game ended goalless and eventually went into the penalty shootout, which Nations FC won and has seen them progress to the semi-final. So Frimpong Manso is on course to win the FA Cup. 2 other games that were played also saw current Ghana Premier League leaders, that is Mediema, take on lower division side Atram Divise, who got to the semi-finals of the FA Cup last season. Kelvin Nkrumah scored a hat-trick in the second half for Mediema as they also won the game by 3-0. And an all Premier League affair saw Dreams FC, who 2 seasons ago also won the MTN FA Cup, come up against Heart of Lions, who started the season brilliantly but are falling off. The game ended 1-1, went to sudden death, and it was Dreams FC that emerged victorious. So the semi-finals are set to be played. 2 games will be witnessed. Mediema, they will be coming up against Dreams FC, and Adriana would also take on Nations FC. The big question still remains, who wins the 2025-26 MTN FA Cup?
Well, let's move on to some international football news where Ralf Rangnick has named a strong squad for Austria's national football team ahead of the international friendly against Ghana later this month. The match is scheduled for March 27 at the iconic Ernst Happel Stadion in Vienna as both nations continue preparations for the 2026 World Cup in June. Leading the squad is David Alaba, the versatile defender from Real Madrid, who remains one of Austria's most influential players and a key figure in Rangnick's setup. Also present are former Chelsea midfielder Kani Chukwuemeka, who just recently switched his international allegiance to Austria. And then there's also more familiar names like Marko Arnautovic in the list as well. Remember that game between Ghana and Austria on March 27 will be live on TV3. However, before we go, Chelsea have been fined £10.75 million and handed a one-year transfer ban suspended for 2 years. The Premier League sanction agreement shows Chelsea made secret payments totaling £47.5 million to agents and other individuals between 2011 and 2018 when Roman Abramovich was the owner of the club. Chelsea have also been given a 9-month academy transfer ban with immediate effect relating to the club's registration of youth players between 2019 and 2022. Much later tonight at 9 p.m., the Communications Director of the Ghana Football Association will be here on Sports Station, and so you do want to tune in ahead of the international break. My name is Ore Kwampofo, and that's how we wrap up the sports segment here on News 360.
In my line of work, a confident smile is everything. Kale Choco toothpaste keeps me on top of my game and ensures my smile is always radiant and bright.
With the tiring nature of my job, we spend several hours under the scorching sun. To keep our teeth white and our breath fresh all the time, we use none other than Kale Choco toothpaste. Kale Choco toothpaste. You're on a Kessie and in a kit one.
Samayo Kendini, and who be
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by
GTP, lifestyled.
And Napa Foods, Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil.
Powered by 3 Entertainment.
Well, good evening and welcome to the Entertainment News segment here on News360. My name is Noella Donko. Now, 10 gentlemen and 10 ladies have officially been unveiled as housemates for Season 4 of the matchmaking reality TV show Perfect Match Extra. The season promises plenty of drama, betrayals, unexpected connections, and intense evictions that will keep viewers on the edge of their seats. Here are some highlights from the launch event held over the weekend. If you loved seasons 1, 2, and 3, then get ready. Season 4 of Perfect Match Extra on TV3 is set to blow your mind. The 24-hour reality experience is raising the bar, keeping audiences on the edge of their seats as drama, betrayals, friendships, and shocking evictions unfold. Housemates have officially moved into the reality house after the grand launch over the weekend, looking poised and ready for everything the competition brings. This season features 20 contestants, 10 women and 10 men, each with unique personalities and one shared goal, finding their perfect match.
Love it. But what is your love language, Nadia?
I would say my love language is intentionality. So to say this, I would say love to me is not really about just words, but more of action.
More of action. What type of partner, as you go into the house, are you hoping to find?
Someone who is honest, someone who is intelligent, someone who is smart, and of course obsessed with me. Someone.
Perfect Match Extra is already heating up. Don't miss the moment.
Look around. You see these faces? You will share your journey with them. The friendship that begins tonight, the alliances you form, and the emotions you feel will shape everything that happens from this moment forward.
Head over to the 247 live stream on Adesa Plus and witness the love stories unfold. And now to some more stories. Jessie Buckley and Michael B. Jordan were among the big winners at this year's Academy Awards as political thriller One Battle After Another dominated the night. The film won 6 Oscars, including Best Picture and Best Director for Paul Thomas Anderson, his first Academy Award. Michael B. Jordan took home the Best Actor for his role in Sinners, while Irish actress Jessie Buckley won Best Actress for her performance in Hamnet.
Man, y'all. Because of the people that came before me.
A poignant moment. Well, that's it for the Entertainment News segment here on News360. My name is Noella Donko.
Thank you so much, Noella. It's now time for international news.
German Chancellor Friedrich Merz says the US-Israel-Iran war is not a matter of NATO. This is after US President Donald Trump said it would be very bad for the future of NATO if allies don't help secure the strait. The US President repeated his call on other nations to help secure the key oil shipping route, adding that the U.S. military campaign against Iran has continued in full force in recent days. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer has meanwhile said the UK will not be drawn into a wider war over Iran. But he said the UK is working with allies on a viable plan for the Strait of Hormuz after Iran's effective closure of the waterway. Israel's military said its troops have begun limited and targeted ground operations against the Iran-backed armed group Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. The military said operations had targeted key Hezbollah strongholds in recent days with the aim of strengthening the defense of Israel border communities. Israel fighter jets have continued to strike towns.
Thank you so much for watching News 360. It was live from our studio here at Adisawe in Accra. I am Martin Asiedu-Date.
And I am Portia Gabo, the sports station at 9 p.m. Do join Alfred Cancer at 10 p.m. for Ghana Tonight. Good evening.